The officers drove me to the abandoned plot on the edge of town, a place forgotten by everyone except the weeds that had reclaimed it. The gate hung on a single rusted hinge, groaning a protest as we pushed it open. The air was thick with silence, so heavy it felt like I was breathing in dust. The plot was empty, a desolate stretch of nothing. But then I saw them fresh tire marks carved into the soft dirt, a clear sign that a car had stopped here very recently. My heart started to hammer against my ribs. One of the officers, a younger man with sharp eyes, followed the tracks. He walked about 20 yards, bent down, brushing away a pile of dry, brittle leaves. He found something half buried in the soil, a mobile phone. Arjun's phone. The world seemed to tilt as he placed it in my gloved hand. It felt cold, lifeless. The screen was a spiderweb of cracks. I knew the battery was dead, but some desperate impulse made me press the power button. For a fraction of a second, the screen flickered to life, just long enough to show me two things. The first was a single notification. Outgoing call, 11:42 p.m. to Mira. It was the call from last night, the one I couldn't understand, the one that had started this nightmare. But then I saw the second thing, a faint, ghostly image on the dark screen. A reflection? It wasn't my own. It was the reflection of a man standing right behind me. I spun around so fast, I nearly lost my balance. But there was no one there, just the empty field stretching out behind me. The officers were standing by the car, talking quietly amongst themselves, too far away to have been that close. My hands started to shake, a violent, uncontrollable tremor. Was I losing my mind? Was the stress making me see things? I clutched Arjun's phone, the cold glass pressing into my palm, and tried to convince myself it was just a trick of the light. But the image was burned into my memory, the tall, shadowy figure, the sense of malevolence radiating from it. I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the evening air. Something was terribly wrong here, and I was starting to think it was something beyond police jurisdiction. That night, I sat alone in the deafening silence of my house. Arjun's broken phone lay on the coffee table beside me, a grim relic. I couldn't stop staring at it, replaying that moment at the abandoned plot. The reflection, the call. My mind was a whirlwind of fear and confusion. I glanced at the clock. It was 11:41 p.m. My body tensed. 1 minute. The seconds ticked by, each one a hammer blow against my sanity. And then, exactly at 11:42 p.m., my phone rang. The screen lit up the dark room, and my blood ran cold. The caller ID read. I stared at the screen, my breath caught in my throat. My hand hovered over the phone, but I couldn't bring myself to answer it. It was impossible. Arjun was gone. His phone was dead, right here in front of me. Yet, my phone kept ringing, a relentless, piercing sound that drilled into my skull. It rang and rang, echoing the terror I felt inside. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. The silence that followed was even more terrifying. In that silence, Arjun's phone, the broken one, on my coffee tick, its cracked screen lit up on its own, casting an eerie glow. A message appeared, typed out, letter by letter, as if by an unseen hand. I'm home in 10 minutes. My heart felt like it was going to explode. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. A dead phone doesn't just turn on and send messages. I was having a nightmare. I had to be. I pinched my arm, hard, but the pain was real, and the glowing screen didn't disappear. The message stared back at me, a promise and a threat. 10 minutes. I watched the clock on the wall, each second stretching into an eternity. My entire body was trembling. I thought about calling the police, but what would I say? That my missing boyfriend's ghost was texting me from a dead phone. They'd think I was crazy. And then I heard it. Doorbell. A single, sharp chime that cut through the silence like a knife. My whole body seized up. No, it couldn't be. I stayed frozen on the sofa, praying it was a neighbor, a delivery, anything but him. But the doorbell rang again. This time it was longer, more insistent, more demanding. It felt like the sound was coming from inside my own head. My gaze fell back to Arjun's phone. Another message had appeared on its cracked screen. I'm outside. Open the door. A wave of pure, primal fear washed over me. I wanted to run, to hide, to scream. But my feet felt like they were nailed to the floor. The doorbell rang again. A long, continuous buzz that wouldn't stop. It was a sound of pure impatience. I had to make it stop. Primera A? Detonó. Slowly, shakily, I got to my feet, Arjun's cracked phone still clutched in my hand. My legs felt like lead as I walked to the front door. The buzzing was deafening. My heart was a frantic drum against my ribs. I gathered every last shred of courage I had, took a deep, shuddering breath, and pulled the door open. Nothing, just the empty porch and the cold night air swirling in. The street was deserted. No cars, no people, just the pale glow of the streetlights on the empty pavement. Relief washed over me, so intense it made me dizzy. It was a prank, a sick, cruel prank. Or maybe I really had imagined it all. I turned back inside, ready to lock the door and collapse. But when I turned, I froze. The living room wasn't my living room anymore. The furniture had been moved. My favorite armchair was now in the corner. The coffee table was pushed against the wall. The curtains, which I had left open, were now drawn tightly shut, plunging the room into shadow. And on the floor, leading from the front door to the sofa, were footprints. Fresh, wet, muddy footprints. My eyes followed the trail, and my breath hitched. There, on the sofa, sat Arjun. His head was lowered, his dark hair hiding his face. His clothes were torn and caked with mud. His skin was unnaturally pale, almost gray in the dim light. He looked wrong. He slowly, so slowly, lifted his head. His eyes were empty voids, dark and vacant. A hollow, echoing whisper, the same voice from the phone calls, slithered from his lips. "Mira, I came home in 10 minutes. At that exact moment, the lights in the house began to flicker, casting his terrifying form in a macabre strobe effect before plunging the entire world into an absolute darkness. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video.